Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Gregory Contracting and Excavating Billy Kaylor Show, where we cover everything in Lower Afton with the Chucky Doak Black Knight football team. As always, I'm sitting here with head coach Billy Kaylor. Coach, how you doing this week?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right.
Coming fresh off bye week, coming fresh off fall break too. How'd fall break treat you last week?
I was good, man. Got to see my folks and go see my in-laws, so it was a good little break.
I'm wanting to think you said you were going to go down and watch your former high school play. Was that correct?
I did. It wasn't a great night for them, but it's good to see those kids and see some of those people again. It's nice, but glad to be back home, settling down, getting back to work.
It's always nice going to see your former players play a little bit too.
Oh yeah, plenty of people tell those kids they're going to do stuff and don't. And we told them when we left we'd come back if we could, and we had the opportunity. So I think it meant a lot to them. It certainly meant a lot to us to see those kids. You leave for opportunities. You don't leave because of the kids. You got 4 years tied into them, and you're invested in their life. It's good to go back and see them.
Were they surprised to see you?
Oh yeah,
The ones that knew you.
Oh yeah, for sure. They were not expecting it, so it was good to see them.
Let's go back into Chucky Doak football a little bit too. Like we mentioned, you were on the bye week last week. Week before that, it was a 12-3 loss to Johnson County. We had kind of talked about the conference standings at the end of last week, but since we don't have much to talk about with the bye week, that's what I kind of wanted to spend this first part on too. You're getting into the thick of things now.
Yep.
You've got 2 weeks left, and it's still anybody's ball game at this point. I think you and Gatlinburg-Pittman are the only two teams that realistically have a chance to win the conference. I think even if Johnson County or Unicoi County won out, they would still have that loss to Gatlinburg-Pittman that would not allow them to outright win the conference and be the top seed. But going down to the end of it here, I went over a lot of scenarios. I figured up 9 scenarios that could happen at the end of this season. One scenario, you finish first. One scenario, you finish fourth. You have 2 conference games left. Unicoi County has 2 left. Gatlinburg-Pittman has 2 left. Johnson County has 1 left. It's still anybody's ballgame at this point. What's your mindset coming down to the end of the season now?
I told our kids today it's a big game. It's a big game because it has major implications for everybody involved. It's major implications for us and Unicoi in terms of playoff seeding and how that breaks down. And you want to keep the ball in your court as much as you can, and win Thursday night will play a big difference in that. So, it's important. It's good to be focused. We've had a good couple of days here, so it's just as important as the rest of them, I guess.
And while you're on it, the game has been moved up to Thursday now.
Yep.
That's something new that a lot of people might already know by the time they've watched this, but today, the day that we're recording this, is really the day that a lot of teams are moving games up from Friday to Thursday. So it'll be Thursday up in Erwin. Game time's still the same at 7:30?
Yep, still 7:30 kick, yep.
Okay.
Supposed to get about an inch of rain Friday, and it's going to be a balmy 50 degrees, and supposed to be sunny and 68 on Thursday. So
yeah, I don't think anybody would want to play in that on Friday.
No.
Smart move by everybody wanting to move up to Thursday, but that's the case for your game too. Wanted to go over some of these conference implications too. I looked up, I think, 9 different scenarios. Also want to go ahead and add that Friday night almost threw all of those out of the window. Because every scenario, I hate to admit this, I was assuming Unicoi County beats Claiborne and Gatlinburg-Pittman beats Pigeon Forge. Those were the only 2 assumptions that I had. I factored in every other thing that I could on all of those. I walk up to the press box at North Green at halftime, and I get the word Claiborne's up on Unicoi County 27-6. So at that moment, all of that time that I spent putting in on those scenarios almost went out of the window, but Unicoi County did come back and get the win. Credit to them. Those scenarios that I mentioned, the ball is still in your court.
Yep.
If you win both games, you outright win the conference.
Yep.
Because the best you could do is finish 4-1, and you would have that win over Gatlinburg-Pittman, where you would essentially go into a tie at first place. So the ball's still in your court. Talk about your mindset going forward and what you've told the boys about that.
We haven't really talked about the scenarios. You can worry about that till you're blue in the face, and it's fun to think about. But at the end of the day, we got to beat Unicoi. Mm-hmm. That's got to be our focus. If we don't beat them, then you got to start relying on other people. If we want a chance to play at home in the playoffs, then we got to beat Unicoi first, so we got to focus on that.
And that's the good thing for you guys is because you're in the driver's seat at this moment in time, you really don't have to have anybody's help.
That's right.
Now, it could change if you go into Unicoi County this week and then receive a loss, because then you would have to hope for other things to happen.
That's right.
In week 10, or I guess that's week 11
Yep.
in the 10th game for everybody. But at this moment, you control your own destiny and you don't need anybody's help. So I assume that's a much more comfortable feeling for you guys.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You want a chance to be able to dictate your own path, and like I said, as long as we win, we get a chance to do that. So we'll give it our best shot for sure.
And I think this one honestly might be a more crucial game coming down to the end of it, because lose this game, go into a tougher game against Gallenberg-Pittman. Lose both games, you could potentially be going on the road to see Alcoa week 1 of the playoffs. That's something I don't think anybody wants to do. That's something, I think that's something that you would like to pit on somebody else, though. And with a win, you'd be able to do that, essentially avoiding that game and giving yourself a higher seeding. You still have a chance to host in the playoffs also with a win. But we'll go ahead and take a break and cover a little bit more of that and talk about Unicoi County and what to expect from the Blue Devils up in Gentry Stadium here in just a minute on Grassroots Media.
Pizza Inn's new Right Way Buffet is open and ready for you and your family. Now with new garlic buttery crust and stuffed crust pizza, along with salads and desserts. It's the best part of your day. The all-day, everyday buffet. Only at Pizza Inn Greenville.
Tommy's Plumbing has provided professional plumbing services to the residents of Greenville, Tennessee for over 30 years. Our experience and reputation have helped us grow our business to add locations in Jonesboro, Tennessee. Tommy's Plumbing is local and family owned, and we offer a full line of plumbing services, such as kitchen faucet, shower faucets, commodes, and bathroom faucets, as well as drain cleaning. We also provide outside plumbing work, such as septic and sewer drain cleanouts, as well as repair and replace. Tommy's Plumbing pretty much does it all. Tommy's Plumbing is licensed, bonded, and insured. Our quality workmanship and passion to provide our clients with expert service is second to none. We guarantee we have the best warranty around. For all your plumbing needs, give Tommy's a call at 638-3662.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Gregory Contracting and Excavating Billy Kaylor Show, where we cover everything in Lower Afton with the Chucky Doak Black Knights. As always, I'm here with Black Knights head coach Billy Kaylor. So you're going up to Erwin this week. You're going up to Gentry Stadium. By the way, we just talked about this in the break. For any of those that haven't been up there yet, it's not at the high school. It's up on the hill. It's not at the high school, though. So if you're going to the game, type in Gentry Stadium, because don't do like we do and go there expecting to find it at the high school, or you'll be kind of lost. But you're going up there, nice facilities, newer press box. I don't know if they've got turf or not. I don't think they do. I think it's artificial. Yeah. What do you expect going into that game on Thursday night?
Well, they're going to be physical. They're a well-coached football team. They have had some opportunities. They've been pretty explosive on offense. They even front on defense. They bring a little bit of pressure. So it'll be a good matchup for us. They do some stuff that we've struggled with in the last couple of weeks, defensively anyway. So their defense does some stuff. So some of their pressure. So we'll need to play well. And I've heard it that this has turned into a fairly good little rivalry here between the two of us. So it'll be a very important and hopefully high energy ball game from both sides.
Weird enough, last year's game was moved from Friday to Thursday, too.
Really?
I don't remember the reason, but last year's was. Now that you say that, I remembered that. Because last year's game was honestly one of my favorite games to watch last year. It was one of those Unicoi goes into halftime, 14-0 lead maybe. At one point it was 14-0, and then Chucky Doak comes back, scores 35 points and gets the win, and that was what made everybody pay more attention to the fact that, okay, these Chucky Doak Black Knights are for real, because the year before it was Unicoi County who everybody looked at, and it was that game that everybody thought was what it was going to come down to. And this year has big implications also, as we mentioned. Yeah. And it's up in Erwin again for the second year in a row. You've got to travel up there on a Thursday. With it being a shorter week, does that kind of hinder your operations a little bit and kind of squeeze things in a little bit?
Yeah, it probably would if we're not coming off a bye week.
Yeah.
But you come off a bye week, so you get – we had several days during bye week. We got to practice and kind of had plenty of time to watch the film and get prepared for them. So because we're coming off the bye week, if we weren't coming off a game last Friday, we would be a lot more stressed in terms of moving the game. But because we're coming off a bye week, it feels a lot better for us. Not nearly as much apprehension moving it because you've had the extra time beforehand.
Talk about what you're going to see on offense, too, because they've no longer got Nehemiah Edwards at running back, former Conference Player of the Year, but they've still got an explosive offense, as we know. That's something Unicoi County's always had. Talk about what you expect to see on offense and on defense from them.
Well, they're going to spread it out a little bit, and they're physical, so they're going to try to run down your throat some, too. They'll put the ball spread all over the field, try to stretch you laterally as well as vertically. So they're kind of a whole picture offense. You got to kind of be prepared for everything. Defensively, like I said, they're going to be even front. They've played a little two high, played a little one high, played some man. They'll bring some outside backer pressure. So you really got to be on your toes in terms of what they do across the board. I think it's a good matchup for us. I think we match up well, body on body, but we have to play well.
And as always, too, you got 3 keys that you need to carry out each week. What are they this week going into that game?
Oh, we got to play sound defensive football assignment-wise. We got to read our keys and feel we're supposed to feel. Make sure tackles offensively. We got to command a line of scrimmage. We got to be a little more consistent throwing the football.
I think that game last year, now I don't want to think about it, that was the Rio Little game.
That's right.
That's what I coined it afterwards. I don't know if you've heard about that game or watched highlights from that game, but that was the game where he really made a difference in that one. It's turned into a fun little rivalry, too. The year before, when it was here at Chucky Doak, I guess that would be 2 years ago now. That was a fun game. That came down to the fourth quarter, but best of luck this Thursday night. That's so weird to say, but it's been a weird football season. We talked about it before. Things could only get a little more weird, and they did. And
we're going to end up playing 3 Thursday games and a Saturday game.
You're going to end up playing 2 Thursday games at the end of your year.
Yeah, 3 total.
Yep, and a Saturday.
That's weird.
That's crazy to think. Almost half of your games were not played on Friday night.
Yeah, it's high school football.
That's true. But, Coach, that's all I've got for you this week. Appreciate you
man.
sitting down with me once again. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Gregory Contracting and Excavating Billy Kaylor Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.